Well, you may know the story, but if you don't, he was born in Brooklyn. His parents took him back to Ireland to live to Limerick at the age of 4 in the midst of the depression of the 1930s. It was a miserable childhood, a childhood of grinding poverty, an alcoholic father, the poverty which haunts him still. He went back to the States as a young man. I think he was 19 when he went back to the States. He got an education. He taught high school for 30 years. And then he retired to a little house in Pennsylvania. And he started to write about that childhood that he remembered so vividly. And somebody he knew somebody at Scribner's, the giant publishers. The next thing, a book was published called Angela's Ashes. And then it became famous. It sold millions, won him prizes, and it got made into a movie. Of course, it's on in the country at the moment. It's a clip from that. And this is a piece of Angela's Ashes, the film.
Son and of the Holy Ghost. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been a day since my last confession.
A day? And what sins have you committed in a day, my son?
I overslept and I nearly missed my first communion. My hair stuck up like a Protestant's, and I threw up my first Holy Communion breakfast. Then my grandma said she has God in her backyard, and what shall she do?
Tell your grandma to wash it away with a little water.
So, that's the movie, and the book has sold millions, as I say. Frank McCourt has won a Pulitzer Prize. Frank is in the country at a store in downtown Auckland signing his new book, copies of his new book, which is called Tis, so-called, because that's the last word of Angela's Ashes. What a pleasure to speak to you at this end of the day as well, because we spoke early this morning, Francis.
You work all day, don't you?
So do you.
Well, so do I, yeah.
Do you get sick of it?
No, not in this case, because it was a long time coming.
Yes.
I'm a late bloomer. I'm the great hope in the States of the Social Security set, that it's never too late.
Each one you sign, of course, is a sale.
Oh, yeah. A book signed is a book sold.
It's a miracle. It's a little miracle. Have you got more people there than for the Naked Chef? They were round by the post, they were round by the greetings cards for the Naked Chef. Have you had the big crowds?
No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, of course. This is a very big crowd. Mainly, the crowd here is mainly of inexpressibly beautiful women. And a few men that are here, but mainly it's beautiful women. They're all after my body.
You told me this morning, we were talking, I can understand that too, because you're in very trim condition.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
From
You're not
walking.
bad yourself.
No, I'm much looser than you are, I think. You told me this morning you had the house of you retired from school teaching at a little house in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you were a famous Pulitzer Prize winning author. And you've got an apartment in New York City, and of course you've got the beautiful spread in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Do you ever, I mean, has it made you happier?
Well, I don't know. Has it made me happy? I don't know if we were put on this earth to be happy. That's a kind of a popular magazine conception. I don't know what happy. Everybody has moments of happiness, but to be happy all the time would be to be a complete idiot. So I welcome those dark moments. The poet Yeats said, being Irish, you know that in times of great joy, you're comforted by the thought that tragedy lurks around the corner. So that this is I've had nothing but good fortune in the last 5 or 6 years, and I'm worried. The cloud is going to form someday. I don't know what it will be, but I'm living a life that somebody wrote as a movie script. Something after 30 years of teaching, now here I am signing books in Auckland for mainly beautiful women and very intelligent men. And I'm talking to one of the most intelligent men in New Zealand.
And of course again, I want to go back to your place in Connecticut, because you suddenly, as a retired school teacher, you suddenly find you're living next to the likes of Arthur Miller himself, William Styron. Who else are your neighbours now?
I didn't know when I bought that place in Connecticut that I'd be living next door to Arthur Miller and William Styron and Richard Widmark. Remember him? Yeah. He was always a tough guy in the movies. He's just up the road. He's about 85 now. And there are all kinds of the man who composed the music for Annie, Charles Strauss, he lives nearby. So there's all kinds of producers and movie stars and composers. And I'm a newcomer to all of this, so I feel very deferential to all those powerful and intelligent people.
I suppose when I asked you before about are you happy, I suppose I was saying, did Angela's Ashes, leave aside Tis for a minute, but did Angela's Ashes, writing that, telling the story of your childhood like that, ordering it, expressing it, did it bring you a peace? Did you get a peace out of it? Did it relieve the haunted feelings?
No. During the years that I was teaching, I knew this itch was there to write the book, Angela's Ashes, and I did it. I did it when I retired. But it doesn't bring you any peace, because you're drawn back into your childhood, you're drawn back into those memories, and it's renewed. And then they make a movie out of it, and you watch your life on the screen, and you're going back over that whole territory again. So I'm trapped in my own life. I'm trapped in my own past. Well, I'm just trying to escape now. I might go to Morocco or someplace like to get away from myself. And sometimes I said to my wife, we were in this hotel room, and she was occupying one side of this big bed, and I said, I feel like moving over to your side to get away from myself, to stop talking about myself. But I don't know. There is, I think, there's tremendous satisfaction in achieving your dream. That's if you want to write a book or anything like that. To do it, to get it out of your system, there's nothing like it.
It is a long way, isn't it, from confession as a child in Limerick. Here's a little bit more. Here's the. This is after you have spoken to the priest in the confessional.
Well, I'm a good worker. You can help me every Thursday after school. There's a shilling for you.
Now, more power to your elbow, Frankie. You'll be taking your job yet, new John.
He called me Frank, not Frankie. For the first time, I feel like a man with a shilling in his pocket, a man who had a drink in a pub.
Yes, you didn't have much to do with the making of the film, and you're telling me this morning the film has been a bit more popular in Europe than in the States, Frank.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said the sales of Angela's Ashes in the States was about 2.5 million, and people who read the book went to see the movie. But the Europeans seem to take to the movie more than the Americans for some reason. I think it's because Europeans have been through so much. You've been invaded and bombed and everything else. They understand more. They're closer to the realities of the book. They're closer. They understand poverty better than Americans. Americans are so prosperous now, they don't want to be bothered. Their main activity now is going on diets, and they don't want to be bothered.
Can you express very quickly what makes a writer? I'm intrigued by a statement you quote of Henry James. You quote Henry James saying to him, he said, to me, Henry James said, to me, the turn of a head is more important than the 100 Years' War. Yeah. What did he mean?
Well, I think for a writer, for an artist, everything is significant. This is what I used to say to my students in New York. Once you're a writer, everything is significant, and you're never bored again in your life, because you're watching everybody and you're listening to everybody, and everything is a possible source of material for your work. So everybody knows about people's posture, a gesture. You can know from the look on a person's face what they're thinking about you. So it's all of that is fascinating. And that's what keeps the writers going.
So everything is a story.
Everything is a story. If there are 3 million people in New Zealand, there are 3 million stories. And I want to stick around and write every one of them.
Good luck with Tiz, Frank, and thank you very much for making yourself available today. Congratulations and goodbye.
Thank you, Paul. Goodbye.
I hope you soon get back into your own bed. I know that you're sick of hotel rooms, so have a good journey back. That's author Frank McCourt signing the books in downtown Auckland. It's a very